Good evening, everybody. It's Dale Calvert. Appreciate you being here. This is the iHub Global ERC CMG Calvert Marketing Group Team Zoom. We meet here every Thursday night at 8 o'clock Eastern prior to the corporate call that will happen at 9 o'clock. I may have sent out email notifications to the wrong people. I hope I didn't, but it looks like I might have, and it wouldn't surprise me if I did. Your time's the most valuable asset that you have. If you're not part of our bottom line concepts, I have global ERC team, then I would just log out if I was you, because you will be totally lost and it'll no value to you at all. You're better off watching cat videos on YouTube, quite frankly. So let's get into it. Again, we have these every Thursday night at 8 o'clock Eastern. Right after we're done, you can go to this URL, https://ihub.training./live, and access the corporate call that happens there every week, also at 9 o'clock. That's when we get a lot of announcements and updates and so on. Tonight, what we're really going to do, this is the email I think that I sent out. We're calling it the last call for iHub Global ERC program, a chance to win a free Tesla and guaranteed opportunity to go on a Caribbean vacation. And again, if that doesn't help people that have been in the witness protection program since they joined this program, if it doesn't help those people wake up, take notice, really nothing's going to. We're going to hear from some of our members tonight, their game plan, what they're planning on doing over the summer, over the next 90 days during this summer Blitz promotion. So if you're here and you're wanting to figure out what's going on now with the ERC, welcome, glad to have you. And if you're a leader and you have people on your team that should be on here tonight and are not, you still got time to send them a quick text. And I absolutely would do that, because I know some of the speakers they're going to be hearing from tonight. So I would definitely do that. Send them a text right now and say, hey, it started. CMG, iHub, Zoom, or whatever the domain is. You guys know it. I have no idea, obviously. But send them the domain name and say, hey, jump on. This is going to be good tonight. Philip asked me to do this. I wanted to make sure I got that done. When you go to cmgihubteam.com, some people are saying they're not getting notifications or what have you. It's because it's probably because I'm sending them to the wrong list, honestly, but I know some people should be on this list that are not. And this is where you join the email list. He just wanted me to remind you guys of that. I love this part. Every week we recognize the people that are having good weeks. Personal accountability is a very important part of the success concept, idea, principle. You got to know your numbers. Congratulations to every one of you that submitted a report. Several of you did this week. And that's just part of progression, is being accountable to your own numbers. It's about you competing with the person in the mirror. That's what it's really all about. Dan Bruning and Vicky were tied this week with 8 points each. They're both doing a phenomenal job. Doug Hood said he went through a little bit of a dry spell, back doing awesome, had 11 this week. Scott Shook, consistent in Myrtle Beach with 15. Number 2 is Kamala Robinson. Kamala's on a row with 16. And number 1 this week was Gordy and Kelly Alderson. And I forgot to put down how many they had. It was 30 something. I can't remember exactly, but they're doing a phenomenal job, maybe 38 points. So congratulations again to all of you guys. Are just setting the example and just making it happen out there, booking new calls every single week and getting deals submitted. You're just doing a phenomenal job. This team is just absolutely crushing this program. These are getting better and better. It happens every day at noon to 12:30. cmgoutreachzoom.com if you need any type of questions answered, feedback, help, and responses, and so on and so forth. Alan Knight heads these up and does a phenomenal job every single day, Monday through Friday. cmgoutreachzoom.com. Really, really good information. Just a reminder, once you get to 6 figures in income, make sure that you do send me an email so I can get your picture up here. I believe we will have between 30 and 100 people by the end of the year that will reach 6 figures in income with this program, and the people that you're seeing on the screen already have. So just doing a phenomenal job. This has been the #1 income generator in history. In history. There's never been anything like it before. There will never be anything like it again. And a lot of you guys have just done phenomenal, taking advantage of it. Just proud of what you guys have accomplished. Again, just crushed it. One thing I want to add, I know some of you have already qualified for the car. You know exactly what I'm talking about because you were on Thursday's Zoom, corporate Zoom. Once you do your first deal in June, July, or August, just put in the Facebook group, I am car qualified. That means you will be in the drawing for the I keep wanting to say Lexus, Tesla, that they will be giving away in September at the event, the company event iHub Global will be having in the Orlando area in September. So just say I am car qualified, because I just want to see how many people we end up that could win this Tesla in Orlando. Plus, I want you to get the recognition. We don't have any way of knowing it. You know it a lot sooner than we do. So just write, I am car qualified. Also wanted to announce also what we're going to do. Everybody that is car qualified, or everybody that writes, gets a deal booked, gets calls booked, and gets a deal started in the process in June, July, or August. In September, we're going to get together somehow as a group. I don't know what we're going to do, but we'll try to get together as a group in September, and we're going to do our own drawing. A lot of you know, a few months ago, we did a Blitz the Town Day, Blitz the United States Day, and we said whoever did the most W-2s from that day, from the activities of that day within 30 days, would win a cruise that we're going to take as a team at the first of next year. We're going to do a team cruise. I know a lot of you are excited about that. Don and I definitely are. And we wanted to give away a cabin to whoever did the most deals that day. And it turned out, when it was all said and done, 30 days down after that particular Blitz the USA Day, Carlos Nito in Colorado won that. And we're going to do a drawing in Florida at the event. So you have to be there. You have to turn in your registration form. I'm not sure how exactly we will do it yet, but the bottom line is, if you write one deal in June, July, or August, you will be in the drawing for that additional cruise cabin that we're going to give away at the event in Florida, just from our team for our team members. So we're excited about that also. That'll be a lot of fun. I'm going to ask a couple of questions, and then I want you to hear from a few people. And this is just a real honest question. And to thy own self be true always. If you've not written an ERC deal yet, if you haven't done one yet, why not? And only you really know the answer to that. And you can, and I've, Michael Penland's the first person I heard say this: you can make money or you can make excuses, but you can't make both. That the action takers are the money makers. And the people that got on with this program, we figured it out as we were going together as a team, with the team Zooms, with talking to each other, I ran into this. What did you run into? And so on and so forth. And together we've really, I've said from the beginning, by the time we get this figured out, the opportunity will be over. And this team is highly skilled. And when I talk about highly skilled ninjas, I mean it. We got a phenomenal group of people that feed off each other, which is the way it should be. And, you know, I understand where some of you think, well, Dale, I've only been here a couple of weeks. And there are people here tonight, people out in the field right now this week, they've only been here a couple of weeks. Some have been here less than 30 days. But the rest of you, some of you have been here since the day they pivoted into this program. And if that's you, this is a real important question. It really is, because belief creates action. Positive belief creates positive action. Negative belief creates negative reaction. And there's people that have been doing this, you know, going through the motions and doing it, and still worried that they're ever going to get paid. And it's like, can you see the facts? Can you see how much bottom line has already mailed out? I mean, so a lot of the things that people had to overcome on this has been phenomenal to me. I've said this multiple times. I'm going to say it one more time, and I'll never say this to this group again. I'll never say this again. And I think on one of the Ninja Zooms here a couple of weeks ago, I probably said this, and I'm convinced it's 1000% true. At this point, deciding to give it all you got, if you haven't written a deal, but deciding to give it all you got for the next 90 days will be more valuable to you than the commissions that you earn. Because I'm not sure what they're coming out with next, but I know that a 90-day focused effort of expanding your comfort zone and just doing what we've been teaching since this program started, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go. You all know enough to have a real simple conversation. Hey, I'm just checking with businesses in this area to make sure they got all the funding they were supposed to get because of COVID. You all received your PPP, correct? Yes, we did. What about your ERC? And then let the conversation take on just a natural flow from that point. This is very simple to do, very simple, very easy. Anybody can do it if they can just get past their own fear. And that's it. That's the game. It's been the game from the beginning. It's always going to be the game. And my point tonight being that 90 days this summer, there'll be many of you that have not written a deal that could write a deal, and that income can mean a lot to you. For some, it could be life altering. I mean, some of you know there's been people on this team that have done deals that will pay them $30,000, $40,000, $50,000 and more for one contract. But that's not where the value is. The value is the consistent effort for 90 days, the 90-day run, because that can put you in a rhythm, create a new confidence that you didn't even know was within you. And see, as I'm saying these words, you have to understand everything I'm saying. There's a lot of people on this team have already experienced. They were once where you are now. They were once where you are now. But successful people are willing to just take that first step, even if they can't see the second, third, fourth step, because that's how it works. You know, we all have built in our DNA fear of failure, fear of rejection, fear of what somebody else is going to think. And if you don't destroy that, you'll never reach your full potential. You just won't. Doesn't matter how great the opportunity is. This is the #1 income generator in the history of the world, and some of you are about to miss it. It breaks my heart. It really does. but it's not too late. You can take the next 90 days and say, you know what? I don't care if I write a deal. All I care about is I expand my comfort zone. And if you take that mentality for 90 days, great things are going to happen for you, not just the rest of the year. You'll set yourself up for whatever comes after this. Plus, it'll totally change the trajectory of your entrepreneurial journey. It will. It will. So without question, this is the last chance this summer, this 90-day blitz, last chance. The fuse has been lit and it's about right here now. It's getting towards the end. That's where we are. On one of the Zooms, Dave Buchanan made a statement, and I love it. Alan, at the end of every noon Zoom with the ninjas, usually ask Dave Trilogy to end it with some words of wisdom. And I think this day Dave Trilogy was not on. He was probably out yanking doors. And he caught on Dave Buchanan. And I think it was last week, maybe last Friday. But Dave Buchanan said, plan your work your plan. If you don't, you'll fiddle around, have no progress, and you'll not get anything done. You got to plan your work and then work your plan. It's that simple. This is what I'm going to do. This is what time I get off. I'll have this much time this day. You plan your work, you work your plan. It's just it. It's that simple. That's what successful people do. Dave does it every day. He's working third shift at night, but he plans his work, works his plan consistently on the leaderboard on this team, and has done a phenomenal job. And everybody that is consistently producing, that's exactly why, because they plan their work every day that is planned before it starts, and they plan their week, and they just do the work, and they don't worry about it. So the secret is make your vision so clear over the next 90 days. This is how many doors I'm going to pull, etc., that your fears become irrelevant. I think that's it. Yeah. So I want you to hear from a few people and let them just share their plan that they have for the next 90 days. If Kamala's on here, Kamala, I want to hear from you first. And then anybody else that would like to share. If I ask you to share, I have probably forgotten that. I know I've forgotten it, and I don't have my list of who I asked. So feel free to speak up, but let's hear from, is Kamala on here? Can she unmute? Well, don't everybody tell me at once. What? They can't unmute? You can, Dawn.
Sorry, I fixed it. Sorry.
Now I can.
Okay. What's your plan? How many deals, how many calls have you booked this week, and what's your plan for the next 90 days? That's really the question for you.
Well, I've booked 3. I've had 2 completed, 1 signed. My plan is to run, and I have it all mapped out, but I am going to be in the top 3 or die trying. So as far as how many I'm gonna get as much as I can. I'm not gonna put a number on it. I'm just gonna do whatever it takes to be in the top 3 or die trying. So plan. I went to Google Maps. What I do, I took it from, I had them here. I took them from the idea with Kelly and Gordy. They had the cards and they put their names and stuff on it. So what I do, like tonight, I was going down through the federal pay and I have them on the cards. I've mapped out where I'm in that area. I went to Google Maps and I've mapped out my thing. This is where I put all my stuff in, and I already have my goals. When I stop and I talk to them, if I don't get the owner, then I write down whoever I spoke with, and I have been sending them thank you cards. I fill them out right there before I leave the parking lot, put the stamp on it, and I mail it that night before I leave that town. I also have the cards that we had gotten from corporate. And I hand them one of those, but I also mail it with it, and I have sticky notes. I also mail that because when I get done in the building, I know the owner's name, so I also mail this to them. And I leave one without the envelope with them. Does that make any sense with the person?
Yeah.
And then I just, I'm following up.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. Success leaves clues. Dawn, can you take this where it's not on me and it shows everybody? So I didn't get to see Kamala during all that. Or is it just on my screen? What's going on here?
It's on everybody, Dale.
Y'all are looking at me.
No,
I don't know, but we got to see Kamala on a little screen and we can see all of each other.
Okay,
We
as
can
long as
see
y'all can see,
everybody.
as long as y'all can see each other, I'm good. You're gonna have to raise your hands though. I mean, the yellow hand, or you will not pop up. You will not pop up. Dave Johnson, I saw you kind of raise your hand. I'd love to hear what your plan is.
oh, hi guys. Well,
You're in Florida, right?
no, I'm back home.
Oh, you're back home. Okay.
Yeah, I booked 3 calls during that time period. One with a gentleman on the way home. I just swung in, saw him. He was sitting there, and he was the owner, and so I did that. So my plan is to. I'm right where you. I've been using almost like a scattergun type method that is it's not very workable. It's not good. I don't fill out that thing, the report. I don't fill out any of that. And I'll tell you, at this point, I've absorbed it from this team. You guys have to know that it's kind of a scattergun type thing. And I just go play it by ear, and that's not going to work. That's not sustainable. So I'm taking it to heart what you're saying, Dale, here. So during this 90 days, yes, that's a value. Give it all I've got for the next 90 days. And I am exactly there. I don't care if I book another call. If I create those habits, if I become accountable to myself, if I start doing the things that I know to do, and I do the proper follow-up, I do the proper, like Kamala's doing with the sticky notes and making it personal, things like that. I'm gonna design. Tom gave me an idea, 2 days a week, and I'll figure this out. 2 days a week, I'm gonna do my follow-up and all of the different things that I need to do with email and phone calls, and then 3 to 5 days a week, because I have responsibilities here at home with these dogs as well. 3 to 5 days a week, I'm going to be out there pulling doors and talking to people. And I'm going to do exactly what Kamala said. I'm going to map it out. I'm going to get a little card. And I've already been doing that. But it's a kind of a scattergun. And I don't want to do that anymore. I want to hold myself accountable. I want to create new habits. And I'm going to take this 90 days to do just that. And I know that the success is there. I know that I can be successful. And I firmly believe that I can be much more successful by doing this in a proper in a proper order and taking on these habits and to gain some of that discipline. And you guys have given me that. This team has actually given me that. And the more and more that I surround myself with you guys, the more and more that becomes ingrained in me. And so I've committed to this 90 days for myself and for the betterment to up my game. But that's my plan, is to go out and to talk to as many people as I can. I'm not going to keep count on this one. I'm just going to go and pull doors until I get the person that needs my help. And I called a guy today. I'm going to meet with him Monday so that, he's kind of doing his own paperwork and everything. I've still got to figure out whether or not he's going to go to bottom line or to stimulus geeks, but he's got all his paperwork laid out and he didn't even know really exactly how many employees he had. He said, I think I got 5, maybe 6. And I'm like, okay, let me come over there and I'll help you out. We'll look at it. We'll take a look. But that's the whole point. My head is down. Everything and I'm going to travel this nation. My plan is to come out there to California and spend a week out there at the end of this month. I'm going to spend a week because that's where I lived there for 34 years. I see no reason to not buy a plane ticket, get a rental car, and be out there and pulling on the doors of people that I know. I have a seriously warm market out there, and I need to take advantage of that. So that's part of the plan. The other plan is to come up to Tennessee and work with some of the people that are in my downline. The other plan is to, I'll tell you what, I was thinking about going up to Illinois today because I want to get around Tom Tirbasso. Man, that guy is on fire. And so I want to surround myself with successful people and to feed off of that. So that's my plan for this next 90 days.
Alabama Dave, productive people, go-getters, it takes them a while to systemize what they're doing. So where you are is normal. It takes them a while. The people that have all their ducks in a row and all their systems lined out and the right colored Post-it notes and all that, they never take action. That's the truth. So you're cool. And you're sitting here, I'm going to be successful. Dude, you're in the top 5 in the company. Let that sink in. You still don't understand that. You're in the top 5 in this company. You're good. You're beyond good.
I'm sorry. I'll just say one more thing. Dale kind of hit me to the team. Dale kind of hit me with a 2x4, and it mattered. And I had to ask him, do you really mean that, Dale? And he said, absolutely. Of course I do. And he proved it to me. It's taken a lot. Yeah, you guys can see I'm beating myself up a little bit. And yes, I am successful here. And it hasn't sunk in yet. I'm still thinking that I'm not doing enough. And in some ways I'm not, but in many ways I am. And so I really appreciate that, Dale. I need to hear that.
You keep striving, you keep refining, you keep getting better. That's all any of us can do. And that's what you've done from the day you've been here. If Tom is on here, Tom, I would like to hear about your day. Because you were on fire this morning. So if you're on here, Tom Tirbasso, I can't see him.
Yeah, I'm on here, Dale.
All right. How'd your day go, man?
Yeah, I didn't count my door pulls. I didn't reach 40. That was my goal. I'm around 30, I think, but I had a real eventful day and I got a bunch of business cards and people to follow up with. And everybody was great with me. I met no jerks today. That was awesome. It was like, what's going on here? Because everybody was super cool. And I actually was starting to enjoy it. And then I had to come home because there was a medical emergency at home here. And then I took care of that and I fell asleep and I woke up 15 minutes before this started. So I didn't get to my warm market calls like I wanted to. I have a big warm market for my traditional business that I want to work for the referral program. And I've put that off because I know people who own businesses and I haven't called them yet. And that's unacceptable. So I got to get on that. That's part of my plan. And I've just blocked off 2 days on my calendar because I'm a business owner. And I just blocked off Tuesdays and Thursdays for door pulling. And up until today, I wasn't hitting my goal. I was coming up short. I was letting myself off the hook. I wasn't keeping my word to myself. And I was going home like at 1 o'clock when I should have been out there till 4. So it really woke me up this morning. I had a bee in my bonnet today, Dale.
You did one deal today, didn't you? Didn't you get one call booked? Did I see that?
I did. I booked the call in person. I booked the call and that fired me up. And then I had another school referral. She called me out of the blue from the same guy who referred my school earlier in the week. So that guy referred 2 schools to me. He had a meeting with everyone I don't know, all the Baptist schools in his area, and he told them all at the meeting about me. So,
Cool.
yeah,
That's
how great is
awesome.
that?
That is awesome.
Yeah.
That is awesome. We're going to end with Kelly and Gordy. And I'm going to make sure they have plenty of time. And I don't want to call on you, but I would like for some of you to share. It looks like Dave Buchanan is driving, but I would love to hear from Dave because he's been steady from day one, but he's looking out the window or acting like he doesn't hear me. He might possibly not hear me. Look at him. You know what I'm saying?
It's
Dave
frozen.
Buchanan.
It's frozen. Screen's frozen.
Oh,
I
his
think
screen's frozen.
he's probably sitting in his car at work. It
There
looks like his
he's
screen
here.
might have been frozen.
Dave Buchanan. Do you have anything you would like to share? Okay, he's in a car. All right, who else? Who else?
Dale, I like to speak up. I just like to say that
Dave's hearing us now. Go ahead, Dave Buchanan, then we'll go to Dave Trilogy.
You can do it, Dave.
Okay, there we
There we
go.
go. There we go.
Oh my goodness. Hey, first of all, Dale, what you said at the beginning, Vicky Karshner is the one that made that statement about working your plan, plan your work and work your plan. So she is definitely the one that deserves all the credit for that. But again, it does make so much sense, and is a good piece of advice. For me, my 90 days, again, is my forte is pulling doors. That's what I like doing. That's what I enjoy doing. I like the interaction, but I also know that I have to expand and really get outside my comfort zone a little bit as well. And that is sending out emails to kind of broaden my contact base. I'll use that for some follow-ups with owners. But again, letting them know once I speak with them, if I have to do a follow-up, I'll send them some information via email, and do more phone calling. So my game plan is to use everything at my disposal. But again, what I'm best at, definitely not shy away from that, but add more exposures to what it is that I'm doing. Federal pay, I use federal pay. And like Kamala says, I put in a zip code and then I'll map that out of those businesses in that area. And then whatever other businesses are in that area, I'll just walk in and contact those businesses while I'm there. So again, you're still expanding, but you have that personal touch. And what I found, and I'm sure other people who pull on doors have found the same thing. It's at the point now, it seems like these businesses have gotten just bombarded with phone calls and emails. And when I talk to someone and they say, well, yeah, I've gotten emails and phone calls, I said, but answer me one question. How many of them have come out to see you face to face?
That's
How many
great.
have taken the time to do that?
That's great.
And you can put your hands on me anytime you want. I give you my name, my phone number. I'll give you my address if you want it. But you can contact me, right? I'm here. I'm not just a voice on the phone. So, you try to establish a quick rapport, and you still run into people. Like a couple of times today, people wouldn't give me the time of day. Oh, I'm fine. I'm fine. I said, well, How are you fine? You don't even know what I'm talking about. No, I'm fine. Well, you just flush them and keep on going. You know, those are that's the fun part. You know, you get to say, okay, bye. You don't waste any time with them. You don't try to convince them.
You don't have to
So
say, have you heard
again,
about the parrot? We need,
I'm going to do it, and I'm gonna tell you.
if we're gonna end up doing this
You know,
more, we'll do a video called, let me tell you about the parrot. So I got a video I want to send you. It'll come from me. It'll be about the parrot. But continue, man. Continue.
okay. Oh, I love that. But again, the federal pay, that can be your best friend because you already know that they've gotten the PPP, and that walks you into the conversation. So just like Kamala and Dave does the same thing, you know, you chart out your course, and then, you know, you're not so rigid that you can't branch off from it. Okay. So look, it's there for the taking for everybody. Man, look, if you haven't started yet with this, and even if you get one deal,
Yeah.
you get one business owner money back. Look what you did for that business. And as a byproduct, you'll get a trip. And an all-inclusive trip, right? And you pick the spot, but you help one business. And again, Shelley says this all the time. You wake up in the morning, who can I help today? Take yourself out of the picture. Every day I get up, I say, God bless me. Whatever happens is supposed to happen that day. But guys, just one deal. So what if it's not $20,000? What if it's $7,000? I don't know about you, but I got room in my bank account. So guys, put a plan together. Let's do it. That's all I can say. It's if you don't do it, it's on you. It's on you. Shoulda, coulda, woulda, didn't. That doesn't help anybody.
That's right.
So back to you.
Thank you, man. Thank you, Dave. Dave Trilogy.
Yeah, I wanted to say thanks to everybody on this team for being here. I think, you know, if you commit to once a week to come on these calls with the entire team, then you're going to get a good idea of what you're doing. But I just want to, if you haven't read the book by Darren Hardy, Compound Interest, I think the compound effect, think about this. We had 64 people on this team. Now we got 65. If everybody goes out in June and just gets 2 deals, just 2, that's 128 in June. If we did that again and we just got 2 the next month, it would be 192 and then 256 the third month. And that's a total of 576 deals we could put together as a group. But think about this. That's 576 businesses we can also talk about with other programs that may come along. Or you can follow up with them and see how they're doing. As Kamala was saying earlier, I love that follow-up. She has to put together a little training for that. That would be awesome. But just think about those easy numbers, just 2 this month. And so many more of us are gonna, you know, 2 is kind of like a weak thing, but anyway, everybody's doing an awesome job, and it's a privilege and an honor to be a part of this team.
Anybody else?
Hey Dale,
Yeah.
really quick. So I'm finally gonna get my thumb out of my mouth. This weekend on Saturday, I'm teaming up with a person you signed up actually that lives in my county, Tina Jefferson.
So
me and her are teaming up and we pulling doors Saturday morning at 10:30. So me and her met like a week and a half ago at Starbucks. So we got to know each other and we said, all right, let's do it. So we both been procrastinating. So us two procrastinators are gonna team up and pull some doors together on Saturday morning. So
That's what it's
wish
all
us
about.
luck.
Welcome, Commissioner.
That
Wish
made my
us luck.
night. Yeah, you'll do it. You'll do awesome. 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 Anybody else? Alan, you act like you want to say something.
No,
Nothing?
it's just Gordy and Kelly got their hands up.
Yeah, I know. I'm trying to give them at least 10 minutes. Yeah.
No, I just do what Kamala tells me to do.
Okay. I know Tony Shoot, you wrote a deal this week, at least one, right? If you wrote a deal this week, say something because I can't keep track of everybody.
Yes, I walked in, went out knocking doors today, pulling doors and walked in and, lady with pool company. She was very receptive, PPP. No, I didn't do that ERC thing. I talked about a couple of the local businesses we helped and she's like, oh my gosh, sign me up. So,
Yeah.
I mean, it's really not that much when you got a story to tell. So, yeah.
That's right.
There's gonna be some big things in Mount Sterling. My man Doug Hood is tearing it
Yeah.
up, man. He's all
Yeah.
over it. He's on here tonight, but he's called me probably 2 or 3 times a day since since this trip qualifier, and he's really about to get moving, and man, he's pulling some doors. He went to factories. He's been all over the place, so he's done a great job. I'm super proud of him. Super proud of him.
Awesome. Awesome. Gordy, Kelly, what we need to tell these people, especially the ones that have not got out of their comfort zone yet? And anything else you want to cover?
Well, yeah, for starters, we're trip qualified. You know, that got that done actually before they announced the trip unknowingly.
Well, we did. Well, our call took place on June 1st and they signed the contract and all documents were submitted on the 2nd. So
Awesome.
they were fast movers.
Yeah, and that guy there has sent us a couple of referrals. Just kind of going through some notes right here, like what Kamala's doing is it's brilliantly simple. It's amazing. It's what Harvey McKay talked about in that book, Swim with the Sharks Without Being Eaten. It's an epic book. It was written 30, 40 years ago, something like that. What works doesn't change. The follow-up that Cam's going to get out of that, and the deal she's going to get if she just sticks with that deal, it's going to be phenomenal. And there's going to be a lot of follow-up, but there's going to be a lot of residual off that. And like Tom, you said people weren't being jerks. Well, the reason they're not being jerks is I don't know if they were, but it's because you're getting better. That's why. And as far as pulling on doors, if you feel like you need to pull on doors to overcome something, do it. But I'm telling you, dude, that telephone in that warm market, one telephone call to a warm market guy is worth about 50 doors. So don't put that off. I love Dave's line about how do you know I'm doing fine if you don't even know what I'm talking about. And that's a great way of saying, when his response comes back, that's a great way of saying, can I scratch you off my list, in a very, very subtle way. And it's very unoffensive. Of course, Dave, he's as smooth as they get. And Kamisha, it's not too late. So for people that haven't done anything yet, I mean, here, and Kamisha, I got one recommendation for you. I'd leave that police suit on. I'd leave that taser on. I'd leave that gun on. And I'd say, I'm a local peace officer. I'm just checking. I mean, might get you fired, but anyways, put a fireman uniform. I don't know. And one thing about Tony, a great point about what Tony made was he tells the story. That's all I do is tell stories. Went out to a rodeo today. There were a bunch of guys roping there and a bunch of guys I hadn't talked to. And I met a bunch of guys and got their numbers, but I probably sent my link while I was standing next to a guy to about probably 7 or 8 different guys. And now I'm going to follow up with all of them to get referrals from them. And every single one of them, I told them our story and I told them what kind of money they could make. if they want to engage. And like, we've got one deal that's realistically worth over 100 grand. And, we're going to give a full 25% to the guy that brought it to us for personal reasons and for the right reason. And very, very happy to do so. But, he's looking at a $25,000 commission. And I tell those people, say, I got one deal. When it goes through, a guy that gave me a phone number is going to get a check from our company for 25,000. And that'll raise an eyebrow. And of course, you got to have the deal to do that. But you can tell that story, and you can generate those referrals off that type of stuff. As far as some numbers go, just to encourage you guys, we're just about 20,000 away from a $500,000, and we have 2 deals that should go through. I mean, why would they leave $2, $3, $4, $5 million on the table? So we got 2 deals right there that just the 2 deals alone are worth about 200. So that'd put us right around that 70.
That's commission in our back office.
Yeah.
It's real. Those are real
The
numbers.
480 is confirmed commission in the back office. And then, if and when those other 2 deals go through, that'd put us right at about 700,000. And that's still with 80 signed deals yet to go through. So even if we lost half of them, that would be another 40 go through. I would think we could get another 300,000 out of 40 deals. So, I mean, $1 million here looks very, very realistic. I don't think we'd have to make another phone call to make $1 million. And it all starts, for some strange reason, we had a bit of an advantage when this started, because we'd already been through all the pain that Dave Johnston's put himself through for 30 years. And the second I heard Josh Fox talk about this, and he said they've created all these millionaires, I thought, here we go. So I really never did have a doubt that we'd be extremely successful here. So we kind of got to start, on first base, it seems like, but it was because of, all the stuff we've done in the past, and it's kind of an advantage that we've earned. But you don't have to have all those skills. You just have to do what Dale said at the start of the call. Walk in and be polite and say, hey, and go have that conversation, whatever. I mean, we've got the Columbo script. We've got you guys all know the script. I never know what I'm going to say till I walk in the door. But if you have enough of them, you get so much better. And once you have that organic conversation and it starts, I mean, it's so easy. And there's a few things you want to say. You want to say, well, I've heard all about this, and well, it seems like you might have some reservations. They'll tell you why they haven't engaged with ERC. And then you customize the response to what they say. As far as what we're going to do for the next 90 days, we're just gonna keep doing what we're doing. It gets to a point where you kind of let stuff just flow back to you. Just keep working referrals and keep doing some follow-up. We had 3 deals, I guess, Kelly said close this week, or people signed, which I'd almost have a late signature than a submission. We had 3 people sign. I don't even know who they are. And then, well, I guess I do. I don't know, but we talked to them at one point, but we had 3 deals come through that were.
There's 372 calls that we booked total. So when we say we don't, sometimes we don't know who they were.
Yeah, and I think
we do know.
almost 150 signed agreements or something like that. But it all starts with that first one. And if you haven't gotten a deal, first of all, talk to, your warm market's the way to go. And then, one line I use with people is if they've already gotten it, I say, outstanding. Who did you use to get the money? And most of the time they say their accountant. And I say, well, I'm so glad you've got a really efficient accountant that got on top of this. But I said, you know what? There's so many businesses out there that don't have accountants like you. And would you know any, do you think you might know of any other business owners that, and of course, this is after I've had a good conversation with them and asked them if I caught them at a bad time and introduced myself and had a civil conversation with them and say, hey, do you know any other business owners that maybe aren't as fortunate as you and have an accountant that jumped on top of this? And they might give you a referral right then, or they might not. And then I say, well, hey, would it be ridiculous for me to send over my link to you? And if you do run into somebody, shoot that link to them. And if they do want that link, man, it'd be awesome if you would give me their number. I'll reach back out to them. And here's the thing. I said, if we engage, there's 25% in that deal for you. And that can be a significant number. And then I tell them just that quick, what kind of money we're talking about. I mean, they might make $3,000, $4,000, $5,000, $10,000 off of giving us a phone number. So, you just get in that rhythm, and you get in that rhythm, and you do better and better and better. But if you've not engaged yet, surely you know somebody that has a job. And you can say, where do you, I ask people, I don't know how many times a day. So what do you do? What line of work? Instead of saying, what do you do for a living? I say, what line of work you in? And they'll tell you. And if they work for a company, that sounds awesome. Ask them about their job, and they'll tell you about their job. And then say, well, how many employees you got over there? And they say, well, there's 20, something like that. And say, you probably know the boss. Oh yeah, I know the guy well. Have your conversation, get them your link, get it in their hand, follow up. So, I mean, if pulling on doors horrifies you, go pull on some doors. But man, if you can work the referral side of this thing, one referral. We were on the phone with Mike Ippolito the other day, following on some cold calls, and he made 25 phone calls in an hour, and he turned those people into, he turned some cold calls into warm market calls just by having them send him to the person they needed to talk to. If I call down there to talk to Dale and he said, you need to talk to Don, give me Don's number, I'm gonna say, hey, Don, I just got off the phone with Dale. He told me to reach out and get a hold of you in regards to, I've got Don's ear, because Dale told me to call. And so I'm ranting on here and all that stuff.
I
Kelly,
might just add
yeah.
though, too, if you guys don't know about Mike Ippolito's cold calling, he doesn't do them every single week. It's just when he gets the time, he'll announce it after the Tuesday night call. And then he'll put a link up there. You have to have that. You have to have the link to get in. But anyway, there's a lot of information there and a lot of nuggets. And what I like it, let's say you are pulling on doors. Well, he's setting these pulling the doors. He's setting that up before he goes and put in Camel. It's something Camel, we all talked about when we met over here. But he'll make this phone call and he'll say to his people, I'd like to come by, once he warms them up and he goes through his thing. It's actually
not. It's like his
first,
it's
just,
line.
he's so smooth. I mean, he makes them warm market instant. I don't know if you guys all remember when Joe Bosco said, be different. He's different. And Gordy's got that too. Makes them warm market immediately when they walk in the door. They just want to absorb what's going on. But he tells them, I'm going to come, I'm going to come and we're going to talk about ERC. And then the next, and he's like, I'll get that guy. And then he goes and sees him when we were talking. And I wonder how many he really goes and talks. But anyway, I'm kind of going off on a tangent. But I don't know if you guys also remember the script that we put up about the accountants probably a month ago. That came from Mike Ippolito. So he has some real true nuggets. And if you're even pulling doors, cold calling, emails, that's a call to be on if he's going to do them. And I don't know if he'll keep doing them or what he's going to do. But anyway, there's a lot of golden nuggets. He does not record them.
But you can.
Yeah,
we recorded a bunch. I know Bobby was on there the other day. It was, and I recorded several segments. And then when obviously you guys know how to record on your phone, but when he makes the phone call, if they hang up, you just delete, so you don't have 37 videos to go through, just delete. But his opening line is, hey, Michael, and he calls right there in his area. Said, hey, Mike Ippolito here. And he says it like they've known him, like they went to high school together.
There's
and he said,
good nuggets.
I'm talking with business in the Staten Island area. I'm a local Staten Island guy. And he said about the ERC, wondering what it might be a good time for me to come by and sit down with you and show you what this can do for your business. And I'm saying immediately, and it's back to what Dave Buchanan said, touch me too. Well, I'm saying most of the time he never does go by the business. He's doing it all over the phone, but he makes the offer. He invites you to dinner when he knows you can't stay, but at least he invited you. And it's valuable stuff.
And then one thing the other thing I wanted to add is Dale asked us when we did a call, did we see this? we saw the opportunity. We talked about it a bunch. We saw this opportunity. We knew if we could ever figure it out, because in the beginning we were like, how are we going to do this? And everybody knows the story. But honestly, what came in my mind, and I didn't think to say this during that call as my answer, but I knew we had to be rhinoceros success times 10x. So I envisioned a rhinoceros with a 10x branded on his ass. And that's, we got to run like we got a brand on our ass. So that's how we've done this. We've averaged basically 53 calls a month since we've, you know, it took us about 2 weeks to get rolling, but that's what it's taken to get where we are. And it can be done, especially if you haven't started, you've got warm market. You could have those 53 calls, you know, you could do that. You just got to do it, you know, brand your ass and go.
And you're gonna go through, I mean, I've woke up a lot of mornings with kind of anxiety about this whole opportunity, and as far as fear of loss and FOMO and not getting the deals and all, but you're gonna go through that. But just once you find your rhythm, you know, it's so important to enjoy the ride. And like, we're absolutely, and now, I mean, if I don't book a call on a day, I don't worry about it.
And
I don't
5,
worry
4, 3,
about it.
2, 1, you guys use that a lot.
Yeah.
I use it a lot. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 and move, you know. just
I've never
move.
used it one time in my life
He
because
doesn't have to.
I've never had to, but I mean, I get it. There's many points in my life when I would have needed to use it,
Yeah.
but now's not one of them. And just, you know, I mean, a guy called the other day and he was a referral, and I left him a text and said, "Hey, Mike, please give me a call when you get a chance. I got your number from so-and-so." He calls, and I put him in my contacts, so when he called, I'd know it. And he said, "Hey, what's going on over there?" I said, "Well, quite honestly," I said, "my grandson's standing over here and he's holding a chicken and he's wearing his pajamas." And it was about 11 o'clock in the morning. I said, "That chicken just crapped all over his pajamas, the tops, the bottoms, and now he's got chicken crap leaking down in his shoes." And that was the very first words I ever said to that man in any conversation. I don't pretend I'm some businessman with a 3-piece suit with some secretary bringing me coffee with cream and sugar in it. Just absolutely be yourself.
People are looking for real people.
Yeah,
Right, that is right. 1000%, 1000%.
Mhm.
So y'all have, how many deals are at the IRS right now?
58.
And you booked 150 calls?
No,
140.
we have 100 and hold on here. I've got it on my
No,
phone.
the book calls is,
We've booked a total of, including Stimulus Geeks, and Stimulus Geeks doesn't show up, but we've booked a total of 372 calls total.
How many are in process? How many signed deals?
140 something, 150.
We've got 58
No, how
submitted
many
to the
signed?
IRS.
How many signed?
How
did
many
you get?
signed?
213.
No, how many
And
signed?
this is a little bit
No, how
behind.
many signed?
Oh, 151. That's sorry. Yep.
151 is signed.
I don't see any way how you're not gonna make $2 million.
Well, we'll take it.
Realistically, I mean, I feel like comfortably we can say we're sitting on 1.5. I mean, if, you know, things happen, I feel realistically, but we're gonna replace those deals if something does
Yeah,
happen.
but
So,
we're not sitting on anything, baby.
yeah.
Hey, and Dave, when Dave Trilogy mentioned that book, Compound, whatever, but he said compound interest, that's what I'm thinking about, is a little compound interest there.
But it's pretty fun to log into your back office. I mean, just book the calls and you see these crazy numbers, these graphs and stuff. It's fun. I mean, it makes everything worth it when you see all these little pretty colors and you're like, what does that mean?
But it gets to where you kind of I'm kind of getting to be a bit of a deal junkie too. It's kind of like, but I don't take one of them for granted. I'm sure I sound like when I say, "Oh, we had 3 that came in," but I'm telling you, if we book a call and they sign and I follow up, and, you know, we work with an individual rep and he follows up and I stay in contact with him, and, you know, we max it out, and there's going to be a lot of them that don't sign, but we give ourselves
truthfully,
every opportunity.
You know, being genuine, because that's what people are looking for. We don't look at anybody as a dollar sign. We look at how we can help them. I really try to tune into people's reasons. And when I'm following up in emails, I'm hitting that reason around.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and I
Absolutely.
incorporate that all the time, what they can do
Yeah,
with that money.
Gordy's
You
really
you
good.
can slip that in 3 seconds, man.
Yeah. Thank all of you guys. We need to jump on the corporate call. Everybody that
Thank y'all.
spoke tonight, we appreciate every single one of you. You guys are crushing it. You've made history in a company that will go down in history as the #1 income generator in the world. And y'all have all made history. So if you haven't got on board, I don't know what else we can do or say that we haven't done or said multiple times. Appreciate you guys. Talk to you next Thursday. Have a good
Thanks,
one.
See you
y'all.
guys.
Yeah, we're having
Good.
fun.
Thank all of you.
Thanks, Dale.